Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is obviously get ready with me because look at me. Look at this. This looks fantastic. I'm looking really good today. I'm gonna film myself getting ready today and just have kind of a chill chit chat video because that's what I'm feeling today. So I'm just gonna go for it and talk to you guys via the camera while I get ready for my day. This is like a nonchalant, typical day. I'm not really doing anything special. It's been a few days since I've washed my hair, which hopefully you cannot tell on the camera, but it's not looking too great. I just take my little plant sprayer. I literally use this guy to like spray the leaves of my plant. Whoa, I'm gonna get water everywhere. I use this to spray the leaves on my plant and spray my hair. So, you know, just one with nature. Wow, this is really just like shot myself in the... What is going on? I feel like I'm getting the camera wet. And I'm gonna put the same stuff in it that I did for my salon blowout. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But I'm obviously gonna put some heat protectant spray in my hair. And then I'm gonna use my Color Wow Bombshell Volumizer. This is like the star of any blowout you could ever do. This stuff is amazing. I will put these Amazon links down below because this stuff is so good. I feel like I have been in such a funk lately. I have had an excessively long period and it's just given me like so many cramps and I don't know, it's just been a really bad one. If you've watched any of my other videos, I have had 3 miscarriages in the past year and a half, and every time I've had a miscarriage, my period afterwards has been awful. This time, it's like every single period since my miscarriage in December has been terrible, and it's like the kind that makes you feel like you want to throw up and your cramps are just so bad. I've just had a really weird experience with periods recently. I don't know. I feel like you're probably not gonna be able to hear me talk over this, so maybe I'll wait till after. My period as a teenager was awful, like really, really terrible. They thought I had endometriosis because of how awful it was, and I was like throwing up, getting headaches all the time. So I went on birth control, just like the pill, when I was really, really young, and it worked really well for my periods, but I feel like now, as an adult, I'm 27 and I stopped birth control at the age of 25. So I was on birth control for like 11 years, just the pill. It was a low dose estrogen pill, but it helped my periods out so much. And when Sam and I started to try to get pregnant, I obviously went off birth control. So much stuff happened to me when I went off the pill, which I'll talk about in a second. Okay, so I feel like this is such a long story, but I'm gonna try to narrow it down. I was really nervous to get off of it because the reason I went on it was because of how awful my periods were. I mean, they were so terrible as a kid. But when I initially went off of it, I weighed more than I do now when Sam and I first started dating and got married. And so when I first went off the pill, I lost a substantial amount of weight. I was on a low hormone pill, so that kind of shocked me. And I didn't know if it was because I was also like in PA school and really stressed out, because right when I went off birth control, Sam and I got pregnant like within a month, so it was really, really soon. And so went off the pill, got pregnant, and then we had a miscarriage, obviously about 2.5 or 3 months into the pregnancy. When that miscarriage happened, the first miscarriage was so painful, and I ended up in the emergency room because of the blood loss and the pain that I was going through. It was just very traumatic. And so I think with all that going on, and I was in PA school, which was super rigorous, I was extremely stressed. And so even though I wasn't like not trying to eat, I would eat less, but I would eat until I was full. So I really wouldn't like think about the fact that I wasn't eating enough. So it was like probably not eating enough. I mean, I was eating 2 meals a day, but the portion sizes were like smaller because I was just getting full really quickly because I was stressed. So I had PA school stress and then the miscarriage, and just like trying to comprehend that. And I got a week off of school for the miscarriage. And then going off of birth control and eating less, like I lost a substantial amount of weight without actually realizing that I was like losing any weight, until one day I was getting dressed and Sam said, he was like standing behind me, and Sam was like, I can see your ribs. Like, this is getting really scary. And I'll finish the story. Hold on. Okay, so I was standing there getting dressed in front of Sam, and he said, you know, I can see your ribs, Sam. Like, this is actually getting really scary. And he had not really like noticed anything for a while. I was wearing the same stuff every day because I had virtual classes, so I would just wear sweatpants and like a different shirt every day. So I wasn't like wearing enough clothing or pant articles, I guess, for me to even realize it or feel it. I think I also mentioned this in my video about why I quit medicine, but I started having like chest pain. I truly felt like I was having a heart attack. This was like my first experience ever with panic attacks. And the only other time that I felt like I had had a panic attack was actually when my grandfather died years ago. And this was like completely different. I never felt this pain before, and my chest was just like really, really hurting. I just swore I was having a heart attack, which didn't make sense because I was like 26 years old at the time and healthy, so I was like, there's no way I'm having a heart attack. And it just felt like this cherry on top of everything that had just happened in the past 2 months. The weight still wasn't even on my mind. And when I went to the doctor, they were like, your BMI is very underweight. Like, are you eating enough? They put me through all these like depression screenings, and I was like, I really don't, like, I don't know. Like, I feel fine. Like, yeah, everything that just happened to me was traumatic, but I just wasn't like, it's like my brain wasn't like registering anything. I was just like, I feel busy. Like, I feel like I was just go, go, go all the time. And it was like one thing after another. And I don't know if you've ever felt like so many things are happening to you at once that you really mentally don't have time to comprehend it. That was definitely happening to me. And I mentioned this in my medicine video, but when I was like trying to focus so hard on studying medicine and I just wasn't there for the right reasons, it's like I had to put extra amount of emotional effort into medicine. I wasn't comprehending the miscarriage, and I just was under an extreme amount of stress, and I lost weight without even like realizing it. They did a bunch of blood work, a bunch of testing. I was on emergency room alert for a long time. I had to wear a heart monitor because they actually did an EKG on me, and my heart wasn't getting enough oxygen. All of my blood work came back fine. I was just having these like crazy panic attacks. And I remember the doctor trying to tell me like, I think this is what's going on. Like, I think you're having panic attacks. You just went through something really traumatic. But I promise you, like, looking back on it now, that's definitely what was happening, because I haven't felt that chest pain since or anything like that. But for a few months there, I was really scared because I was just like, I would sit on my couch and my chest would be like in excruciating pain. Like, it was like this stabbing pain that I can't even describe. It was just extremely scary. And on top of all of that, COVID was happening, so everyone's on lockdown, and I was just in a very weird position where I just didn't know what was going on with my body, but I had no time to actually focus on my physical health. I'm gonna lead this back to birth control, I promise you. I gotta do this before my hair dries. After a lot of conversations with doctors, they started asking me, obviously, about birth control because they knew about the miscarriage. I said, I'd been on it for 11 years and I obviously just went off of it. I cannot get this clip in. So I told them, I said I had been on birth control for 11 years and I just got off of it a few months ago, and my husband and I got pregnant, and now I'm here in your office. They talked a lot about weight fluctuations, with birth control, which I remembered as a teenager because when I went on birth control, I remember I had to try a few different types of birth control in order for like me to feel comfortable with the one that I chose, because some make you lose weight, some make you gain weight, and I had just been this weight for a really long time, so I hadn't chalked it up to like this is my birth control weight. I just thought it was my normal weight because it had been since I was like in my development years. Basically, it was like birth control, you know, can obviously fluctuate a ton of different types of hormones in your body. They said a lot of weight loss can happen with, you know, people getting off of birth control, which totally makes sense. And at that moment in time, I was like, okay, light bulb, like that makes a lot of sense. They also said, obviously, that, okay, you know what, like you're having panic attacks as well. And so like this on top of this is like kind of where you're at. And so all that being said, I lost a lot of weight getting off of the pill. There were also a lot of reasons that I lost an excessive amount of weight. I have since gotten back to a weight that is still less than what I was when I was on birth control, but I'm at a much healthier place and I don't have any of the like complications that I had when I was severely underweight. I've just kind of understood my body more since being off of birth control. Like birth control affected me in such a way that I didn't even realize. Like it almost was like a cloud on my mental health. I don't know if that makes any sense. I obviously believe in medicine. I studied medicine. I believe in it. I believe medicine works. I don't even know how to like word this correctly. I also believe there's a lot of generic things that are kind of like written, because if you think about it, if you're a provider, you see like so many patients. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to like differentiate what is best for one person versus another, and then sometimes there's something that is like generically good for all. I don't know if that's making any sense. And so birth control is obviously really good for preventing unwanted pregnancies, severe like PMS type stuff. I mean, birth control has a ton of wonderful things, but for me, a couple of the things it did was obviously alter what my normal weight was. And so when I went off of it, I had no idea that I was going to lose a lot of weight. And then another thing it did for me was really this like mental cloud that has been lifted off of my head. I feel like I am a much happier person off of birth control, which is crazy because right when I went off of birth control, I had like a ton of stuff that I went through. But now thinking back on it, I'm able to like think clearer, if that makes any sense. My periods, which is the thing I was the most worried about, have been weird because I have been pregnant 3 times. And so, like I said, after every single miscarriage, your period is like just awful. And so for me, it's kind of hard to gauge what a normal period is after this past year. I can say that I haven't gotten any of the like crazy period symptoms that I used to get. And by crazy, I mean like emotionally crazy. I feel like I'm a little bit more level-headed. And I know birth control is supposed to like make the opposite happen, but for me, I've had an opposite experience since being off birth control. I definitely feel more level-headed. My periods don't last as long for some reason, and I also know that birth control is supposed to shorten your periods, but my periods don't last as long. I definitely feel my body's natural cycle more. I'm more aware of like what an emotion means, what phase of my cycle I'm in. I have loved being off birth control, and I honestly don't think I could ever go back. Sometimes I feel like I overshare, but oh well. The only thing that I can say that I've really seen like change in a negative way since I stopped birth control is the amount of bloating I get on my period. I never had like extreme bloating. Even as a teenager, it was just always like pain. But now as an adult, I can always tell when I'm gonna get the first day of my period, because the day before I am literally a balloon. It does not matter what I eat. It honestly doesn't matter about anything. I'm just a straight up balloon, and it's debilitating, and I don't want to go anywhere. And so that is the only symptom that has gotten worse since I stopped birth control. Everything else has been for the better. I don't know if anyone else's significant other does this, but when I'm on my period, Sam will like have sympathy PMS, and he'll eat whatever I'm eating with me so that I don't feel bad. It's actually really cute, but if I want like a gallon of ice cream, he will sit there and eat it with me, even though he is not feeling ice cream, just so that I don't feel bad about myself. Also, I think he probably just does it because he wants to, but he says it's for me, so it's sweet, it's cheesy, but I think it's cute. Another thing I was thinking about as I was completing at the top of my head, and I didn't know if I wanted to mention this, but I think I will because it did affect me so much, was when I did lose all of that weight, I got a lot of comments like, you should just eat a burger, or you could use to eat a burger, or something like that. As if I had like purposely made myself this unhealthy, skinny weight. And it really offended me and hurt me a lot. I think I just realized, aside of the body shaming culture for people who are really skinny and can't gain weight, and I was in a position that I just couldn't gain weight and I was in an unhealthy place. The like body shaming that came along with that really hurt me, because it felt like people were judging the fact that I was so skinny. And for a while there, I didn't want to wear anything but really baggy clothes because I didn't want people to see how skinny I was. They were just out of the blue for me. And that's actually when I started noticing my weight, was when people like said comments like that. And I think there's just like a better approach on like checking in on someone versus like making a joke about someone's weight. If it's like overweight or underweight or whatever the case may be, like I don't feel like we should ever joke about it. And I don't know. I just had to share that because that was an experience that I had. And I just think, especially as women, it's like so important for us to like lift each other up. And all body sizes are beautiful. All shades of skin are beautiful. And I just felt like, why would we say comments with like negative connotation? It just felt, I don't know, it made me like extremely self-conscious about my weight. It was a really bad mental space for me when someone said a comment like that to me. I have definitely struggled a lot with my body image since all of those comments, and I don't know, maybe it was just like something I never saw happening. But when you say to someone like, oh, you look like you need to eat a burger, or you look unhealthy, and it doesn't have like a positive connotation of like, how can I help you? Are you going through something? It's just like this blanket statement. It's given me body issues now to where I feel like people are judging me for how I look. I don't know, I guess body positivity is definitely just something that I have struggled with, and comparing myself to people on social media. And I think that's just elevated when I'm on my period and I'll get on social media and just compare myself. I mean, comparison is just like such a dangerous game to play. I definitely have to like remind myself and mental battle through a bunch of different image stuff. I mean, starting this platform and this channel and like talking about life stuff and being vulnerable, it has been just really hard because there's a lot of people on these platforms, and I think social media lets us all see different things, and there's a lot of good that comes out of social media, and then there's also a lot of just comparison. And I think it's really hard to get on social media and get into that mental space where you're like scrolling and you're not in a good mental space, and then all of a sudden you're comparing everything about your life because, you know, someone said a comment to you that made you feel insecure, because those happen all the time. And that really happened to me with like the body image stuff. Like when someone said, you know, you look like you need a burger, and that's just like a very vivid statement that comes out. Like when someone said that to me, and I would like, if I got on social media right after, I would spiral into like every aspect of my life and like compare every single aspect of my life. And I just think it's really hard because social media only shows one side of that person, or a side of that person, and everybody has their like good and bad days. But it is so easy to compare yourself, and I definitely have done that a lot. When I'm on my period, I definitely try not to be on social media that much because it just can be a really bad space for me. Also, I coated my face with grapeseed oil, and now I'm just putting my e.l.f. poreless primer on my face. I think another thing I've struggled with social media is I obviously see everybody's pregnancy announcements now, and it's a really weird feeling to like be happy for people and simultaneously sad for yourself. I don't know if anyone can resonate with that, but there's obviously no one that I'm like upset with them for being pregnant. So if anyone is feeling that way, like going through something and you're watching other people be successful and you're not feeling successful at all in that aspect of life, and you're like happy for those people, but also just like feeling down about yourself, I want to encourage you that that is a totally normal feeling, and it is okay to feel that. I think in my mind I go through this thing of like, well, am I happy for them, or am I just like jealous and resenting them? But I'm not, because if I like really evaluate my heart, like I don't want anybody to not be able to have children. That's absurd. I want everybody to be able to have like what they want. It's just, I think I can like confuse it in my head with like, is me feeling sad like a resentment thing? But it's normal to feel sad about that stuff. This is Merit's Flush Blush. They just came out with a new color in this, but I really love their Beverly Hills color, which is what I'm wearing today. And then just a little bit of highlighter. I just started using retinol on my under eyes to just tighten them up a little bit. I get Botox in this area because I have this very nice 11 line right here that makes me look like I'm mad at people all the time. But I don't really want to do any sort of like plastic thing under my eyes at any point in time. So I'm trying to like tighten up that area. I have sinky under eyes. And so I've been told that retinol just kind of like helps tighten it up. And I've got CeraVe's retinol, and it's supposed to be like a beginner serum. And I'm liking it, but every time I use it, I just get this like, almost like not a rash, but it's just like very tender. It can get slightly red. And I only use it once a week right now, so I'll use it one night before bed, because retinol does make your skin a little bit more sensitive to the sun, so I wanted to do it at night. But if you know a lot about retinol, or you've had your own personal like retinol experience, please comment down below or message me on Instagram and like let me know what worked for you. I don't have a ton of acne. I used to get a lot of cystic acne as a kid, so I think what I'm trying to do is get to a point where I can use retinol all over my face just to like, you know, kind of tighten up my face. I have a scar right here. Wow, I did not mean to flick off the camera. I have a scar right here from cystic acne as a kid. If you are just like an expert at retinol, please leave a comment or DM me on Instagram, because I would really like to know what the best products are or how to like appropriately ease my skin into it, because I'm just using my YouTube research right now. Okay, I just went to have a conversation with Sam and now I can't remember what I was talking about when I left. So I was thinking on my way back to the camera about like how different men and women's minds are, and like how one-track mind Sam is, and I love him so much, but how I can multitask at like a million different things, and this man needs to have one conversation about one thing. I remember like when we first got married, just like the communication battles that we had to go through. Sam and I went through a lot of different just battles. We had very different upbringings, and so like our modes of communication were different. Our love languages are so different. Like he is definitely a words of affirmation person, and I am not a words of affirmation person at all. I think I scored a 0 on words of affirmation. So I have like had to learn how to communicate and like appropriately tell Sam how much he means to me. And I don't do it right all the time, but it's just been a challenging task for me to learn. And like he had to do the same thing, because I obviously like, I love when he tells me that he loves me, but I'd much rather like, I don't know, him do something for me, or I don't know. Comment below your love language, because I just think this is so cool, and like giving versus receiving love languages are so different too. Okay, I know I mentioned this in my last video, but Merit's lip oils are the best thing ever, and I'm gonna keep mentioning it because it's incredible. Oh my gosh, my hair is stuck! This one always scares me when I take it out. I feel like my hair looks crazy. Ooh. Okay, here we go. Alright, now I've got to choose an outfit. It is a very beautiful day outside, thank you Lord, because of the snow we had. So it's so pretty out, and I think I might actually work outside a little bit today. So let's pick an outfit out. This is the worst part about periods, because I just never feel comfortable in anything. My closet's so small. feel like I don't want to wear a tight shirt. Period bloat is like the worst thing ever. Especially during the summertime when you're trying to like figure out an outfit to wear. What is going on? Maybe I will wear this because it's like a lightweight, looser fit shirt. Cute little florals and stuff. And it's got this tie, and then I'll wear, I don't know, like some boyfriend straight leg jeans. That sounds good to me. Okay, I'm going with this satin floral shirt. It'll cover up my period bloat. And I'm gonna do my 90s straight leg jeans from Abercrombie and then my slinky shoes from Steve Madden. And I will link all of these things as well.
Though I'm wasting time, I don't want to be trapped in a box, trying to be like the rest when I'm not.
Okay, and for accessories, I think I'm gonna go with this long gold necklace from Madewell, because this is kind of a low cut shirt and I just love the little pendant on this guy.
With you, I'm gonna leave it all behind, find myself, I'm gonna start over new.
All right, this is the final outfit. Feel free to ignore my laundry. I still have yet to put that away. But this cute little satin flowy top that covers up any bloat, so I feel comfortable today. Low neck shirt with the cute gold pendant and baggy jeans that also make me feel comfy, and my slinky shoes. All right guys, that was it. That was me getting ready for my day. I feel like it was such a whirlwind of a conversation, but I really just wanted to come on here and share some like random heart thoughts. So I thought I would just talk while I got ready for my work day. So I'm gonna head to work now. Thank you guys so much for just listening to my heart and being active on this channel. I love you guys so much, and I will see you soon. Bye, YouTube.
It'll be so complicated if I listen to my heart. I'm gonna